You know, I had a nice, elaborate, theologically accurate title for my sermon, but instead I decided to call it this: Basic Stuff Every Christian Should Know About Christ. Folks, we've got to turn the tide right now. And I know you're worried about all the troubles of the world, ISIS and Obama, and I don't know how those two go together, but they seem to. And the rest, the Cowboys aren't going to win a single game. What are we, 2 and, it's done, it's over. And so I'm talking to Rudy because he's my only friend when it comes to Cowboys. So we have all of these things that we are troubled by, and I want you to know all of them, even the serious ones where people are dying, people are being murdered, and injustice, and the serious, heavy things that are going on in your life. Now, I'm going to be careful here, but I want you to hear me. Those are distractions. They are distractions compared to the basic stuff. They are distractions compared to the knowledge and the articulation of the gospel. Who is Jesus? What has he done? How do you receive him? Those are the things that we should really be troubled about if we don't have that. Because all of these other things have gone on throughout history since Adam and Eve up until today. A tumultuous, messed up, destructive world. And yes, we should be concerned about them, but ultimately they pale in comparison to the light of eternity. And you and I, we have the answer. The answer is Jesus Christ. Paul could have got caught up in all of these things. He could have got caught up in fruitless theological debates with his Jewish accusers that we're about to look into. He could have made countless politically charged stump speeches in front of several Roman governors decrying the injustice of Caesar and their political system. He could have been a crusader for cultural and moral reform in a society obsessed with worldly pleasures, from prostitution to the games of the Colosseum. He didn't do any of that. Have you ever noticed that? Paul had the ear of the most powerful people. From now on in the book of Acts, that last section, all the way going to Rome, he's now talking not to peasants, he's talking to kings, to queens, to governors, people with money, people with influence, people with power. And he could have spoke about, Caesar is a rat. We should do something about him. And he could have even had some people really believe him, like, yeah, we know he's a rat. Maybe we should do something about it. Or this morality in this Hellenistic world, look how evil it is. And he could have focused on that. And surely the Jews, they would have went, yeah, you're right. Maybe we should do something about that. So he could have got their ear, their attention, and maybe done something with that. And he didn't. We find him saying basic stuff about Jesus Christ over and over and over in front of powerful people, because he knew that the only power, it wasn't a new king, a new president. It wasn't having moral people throughout society. He knew, because we're all totally depraved, he knew that wasn't even a possibility. The law was never going to save or change anybody. Jesus, you know who he dogged on more than anybody else? It wasn't prostitutes. It wasn't tax collectors. It was the most religious people of his day. So they had the law inside and out, and it did nothing to transform that society. So Paul had the ear of all these powerful people that could have changed the society because they were in charge of society. What he did instead was say basic stuff about Jesus Christ. He shared the gospel because he knew the only thing that can change an individual's sinful, dark heart or a culture or a society is the gospel, the light of Jesus Christ. And so time and time again, all the way to Rome, he's preaching the gospel, period.